What's up, YouTube? This is Bison X79, guys. Today I'm coming to you with my last ban list analysis video. Yesterday, Konami dropped the July 1st ban list on us. Unfortunately, when they dropped this, I was actually at work, and I had a lot of things to do after work, so I really couldn't bring you this video sooner. So what I did was I decided to take a step back, really digest what happened on this list, and I noticed there was one particular trend. Now, one of the issues that a lot of people claim that TCG Konami doesn't do is listen to the fan base. Well, they did listen to it, and there were a lot of moves to basically satisfy particular player bases and what they were whining about that should come off the list. To be very honest, I feel that when you start listening to the fan base about, especially when they just want to bring certain cards off the list because they feel it's unfair for those decks, you're going to be making mistakes for those decks and really not making the correct moves for those decks, in my opinion. I will discuss those particular moves as we get to the cards. So before we get started, we are going to take a look. The next list is not going to be no sooner than October 1st. To be very honest, Konami, if you see this video, just change the wording of this phrase. It should be this next update should not go active no sooner than October 1st, because as you can see, since we got the list yesterday on the 21st and it doesn't go active until July 1st, we can get the list before the active date. That being said, this list will be active for the upcoming remote dual YCS, which is going to be taking place July 10th and 11th, the weekend of July 10th and 11th, and then the Top Cut will actually be playing on the live stream July 31st. Okay? So, without further ado, we're actually going to jump right into this. There's only two moves they actually made on the ban list. First move, you can see right here in the links, is Guard Dragon LP. Now, over in OCG, Guard Dragon Link got Guard Dragon LP banned, and the same thing had happened here in the TCG. Special summoning any type of Dragon monster from your deck to the field, not a healthy move. It leaves Dragon Link only with Pisty. In my opinion, that's not really that bad of an idea, primarily because you're already using cards that you already have used or sent to the graveyard to set up your play, so it really makes it a little bit more fair just to be able to reutilize resources from your graveyard or bandit zone. So Pisty is alright, it's a fair card. LP is out of the game, so we finally got that piece of the problem gone. And then Zodiac Trident. Now, if you've paid attention to the OCG ban list, Zodiac Trident was part of the Tri-Brigade Zodiac deck, and they had OCG had that deck for a while. They made two moves against that deck, banning Trident, and then putting Fire from Tinky to 2. That was on the OCG list. Over here in the TCG list, now I know the Tri-Brigade Zodiac deck was on the rise here in the metagame in the TCG. So I'm guessing the move to ban Trident was to try to get ahead of the deck so the deck wouldn't get too crazy. They did not semi-limit Fire from Tinky, which is a good thing, so the consistency of the deck is still there. However, if this Tri-Brigade Zodiac deck does continue to be a thing in this upcoming minute, do not be surprised when Fire from Tinky does pick up a hit on the October list. Just going to say that. Alright, we're going to move down to the limit section, and this is where I feel a lot of the mistakes were made. Alright, we're going to first talk against Miscellaneous Source. Yeah. This is where a lot of the players were complaining that Miscellaneous Source is unfair. Let's just take a look at Miscellaneous Source to really see where the unfairness is. Alright, so during the main phase, you can only activate it during the main phase. Alright, so I don't really find that unfair. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard during this main phase, so it only remains active during the main phase you use it. So if you activate it during main phase 1, it's only active during this. If you activate it during main phase 2, it's only activating during that one. Alright, and then of course you get the protection of dinosaur monsters from activated effects. Okay. I can see protecting the monsters could be an issue, how it prevents interaction, but changing your main phase to battle phase doesn't stop you from interacting with your opponent's board, because there's no rule in the rulebook that states that once you enter the battle phase, you have to immediately attack. You can still activate card effects, interact with your opponent's board, take things off your opponent's board, and still be able to break through it. all dodging this card because this card can only be activated during the main phase. And if you look right here, it's not an issue in the OCG because, hey, they figured out, yeah, if you change the battle phase, you can still play against his deck. Yeah, and this is the issue that I'm saying, when you listen to the fan base about hitting cards that they think is unfair, and you're really ignoring the problem card. And the problem card for dinosaurs is this guy right here. Look at here. Limited in OCG. It is limited for a reason because this card does so much. On summon, you're either searching a dinosaur to add to your hand or dumping in the graveyard. It can target a level 4 lower dinosaur monster on the field, pop it, and get a dinosaur monster out of your graveyard in defense position. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be popping one of the babies, which means you're going to basically be able to get multiple monsters on the field at once. Seriously, how is that fair? And this is unfair. It isn't. Hopefully, October, Konami corrects this mistake. This card goes back to 3. This card goes to 1 where it belongs. All right, now, Performer Pal, Skullcrobat Joker. Remember correctly, on my January, for the first ban list for this year, I actually did have this card coming down to 1. Putting this card at 1 is not a bad move. It gives Pendulum Magicians a little bit of consistency back, but doesn't make them completely and totally nuts. And I feel that it's fair as long as you keep this card at 1 and it stays here. So yes, definitely this is a smart move. Pendulum players rejoice. You get a card back. Striker Dragon, again, this is going to go alongside with LP. I actually did have this on my limited list for the July list. Most Dragon Link players run 2 to 3 copies. So now they're stuck with 1. And really, they have to get all their plays off of this 1 copy of Striker Dragon. Which means you have to go into Romulus. Dragon Links will have to go into Romulus, get the Dragon Ravine, load the graveyard, then summon out Striker Dragon to get boost set to launch, use the boost set to launch plays and Striker Dragon's other effect, and really just go off from there. Okay, we'll come down here, and we got at least 2 more mistakes, in my opinion. We have Mirage Stallion coming down off the ban list. And Salamangreat Circle remaining limited. Let's just take a look at Mirage Stallion now. I can understand the arguments behind it because it only really works within R-type, and it locks you into Fire-type monsters. So I can understand how people see this as fair, and how it balances out, because if you're playing second with Salamangreat, you can't really use this card, because when playing second with Salamangreat, you want to be going into Actus Kotalker. And you can't do that if you lock yourself into Fire. This is definitely more of a go first play, so okay, it adds stuff back to the deck. It gets you your 1 copy of Gazelle onto the field, and you can start playing it, and you could actually cheat with Spinny's effect now alongside of it. So okay, I can understand this, but here's the thing: we have Salamangreat Circle right here, and it's a consistency spell. It allows you to search your deck for a Salamangreat monster to add to your hand. We all know how well Salamangreats can actually recycle their materials from the graveyard back into their hand. So, and it does offer a little bit of protection for at least one of your Link monsters that will reincarnate Link summons. So, to be very honest, I personally think that listening to the fan base and moving this card down is going to really prevent us from actually getting back the tech that we really need to make the deck a little bit more consistent. I just feel that this card should have came down semi-limited before we got Mirage Stallion back. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I am happy that we do get this card back. It gives us a little bit of a stronger first turn combo play, just to be able to get Gazelle out of the deck a little bit easier. But still, it should have been Circle over this. And then, of course, we have Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. To be honest, yes, Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, it's semi-limited over an OCG, but then again, they have Kagari at 1 over an OCG. And personally, yeah, what does it do? It basically allows you to search your deck for any Sky Striker card to add to your hand. And if you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard, you draw 1 card. What is this card going to do for the deck? Basically, Sky Striker players are going to be running 1 less copy of Desires now. Thank God. I am rejoicing, but the way I feel is that once we got engaged back, none of the other skyscraper cards have a chance to really come back to multiples. Since we have additional search to get them out, and to me, that's really going to hurt the deck because what the skyscraper deck is really lacking is their grind game. Multi-roll should have really came back to 2 before we got engaged back to 1. And I feel that if Skyscraper's got the grind game back, the deck will be a little bit easier to manage. Um, Instead of having to turn around and worry about specific tutoring cards into the graveyard and then recycling them. Because right now the play is going to be use Hayate to dump Engage into the graveyard, Kagari to recycle Engage back, and then you use Engage to search out what else you need, and then you have the additional in-phase search with Shizuku. And to be honest, that is pretty much what striker players are going to be doing during their turn. And this is my issue with this particular moves, because it is overlooking cards that should have been moved down the list before we got these cards back. And now that we got these cards back, I feel that the other cards that are on the list are going to remain on the list as well. So I just feel that it was not the right time to bring these cards back. They should be coming back, but then just not on this list. And then, of course, we come down to the semi-limits double Iris Magician. I mean, seriously, why was this card banned in the first place? The Pendulum effect turns any Pendulum monster you have in the field into maybe an Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon with its reaction force effect. Whenever this card gets popped, you search a Pendulum Graph card from your deck, and it counts as a Dark Pendulum Dragon monster while on the field. I mean, I don't see how this card was overly broken, and it really needed a limit in the first place. So, Pendulum players got 2 cards off the list. Symbol of Heritage. I mean, I think the OTK that really utilized this card has been basically power crept out of the game, so it's not really an issue to keep on the list anymore. And that pretty much is the list. Now, going through the meta, Dragon Links, I can turn around and feel that I don't see that they're the loser. They did lose a few pieces out of their extra deck, but they didn't turn around and lose any of their starter cards, so I don't really consider them a loser. They're more like straddling that line. The real winners of this list, I can tell you, are Pendulums, because they did get a couple of cards off the list, and then, of course, we have the Dominica Invoked Shadal decks, which haven't been touched at all, primarily because of the Megatins reprints that are coming out in September. Other than that, I feel that besides the moves that are blocking other cards that should come off the list, this is a pretty good list, in my opinion, and to be honest, I'm kind of excited to see how the decks are going to be playing moving forward. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on my channel, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss any uploads. Check out the description box below, find the invite link to my Discord server, join the conversation. We'd love to have you. Check out my affiliates, TCGplayer.com and SideDeckVersus.com. Great resources for any Yu-Gi-Oh player. Follow me on social media, and guys, until next time, peace.